Hey, welcome to a new episode of Off the Fence. Here in a minute, we will introduce you and we'll talk through all the important stuff. But the unimportant yet fun stuff is we have Little Debbie. We're on this kick of Little Debbie stuff. We grew up eating the snacks. I would sneak some of them into my room and all that. But they say the ice cream that is in front of us tastes like is it the Cosmic Brownie? Is that the name of it?
I would just call it tastes like a pile of MSG, not MSG, preservatives. No. Like preservatives.
I was wondering where you're going to go after pile of. But.
Well, I've never eaten that. But the Cosmic Brownie, I struggle. I did grow up on a farm. The Cosmic Brownie, I just struggle with because it just tastes like a bunch of like mush. I've never been able to.
Dense.
Yeah, I've never been able to really love it.
I'm sure it's all natural ingredients too.
Totally.
It just tastes like a pile of preservatives.
All right, so
I'm sorry.
You guys go after this. Take a bite or as much of this ice cream that you want.
Okay.
Consume it, and the agenda here is simple. Does it taste like the Cosmic Brownie? That's what we're going to try to figure out. I'm hesitant on this in that it's going to taste like chocolate, I think. Like,
oh, no.
No? Yeah, okay.
That definitely has some brownie flavor to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's not just like, hey, here's some chocolate ice cream.
No.
It tastes like a Cosmic Brownie.
It captures the very preservative-filled essence.
But it just doesn't get stuck on my teeth.
No, I hope it does. In fact, I hope the rest of the time we're together, I hope you guys have chocolate all over your faces.
I'll take a bigger bowl of this.
When do I not have food somewhere on my face? Never. So, the answer is never.
So share some initial thoughts. I think personally this looks absolutely disgusting.
What
does it look like, David?
It's brownie flavor. Mm-hmm. It's not just chocolate.
Do you have water? You're going to need some for your palate.
I think, I agree with you guys. It's not just like chocolate ice cream.
Mm-mm.
So, okay, do you think it tastes like the Cosmic Brownie?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. And I enjoy it much better because that chewy, it's so dense, it would get stuck on my teeth.
Yeah.
So this might be big, like the ice cream, better than the original brownie of it.
Mm-hmm. You can melt it on your tongue.
Wow.
Yeah, way better.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, there you go. Off the fence. Those of you who like to go to your local grocery store, appears that a Cosmic Brownie might be a great option. All right.
Bypass the box of them and go to the freezer section.
There you go.
And get the ice cream.
Okay. Thanks, Little Debbie. All right. Well, thanks for tasting food with us. I know that's eventful. Before we get rolling, we always like to just everyone's not going to know who you are. So give us a short understanding of where do you come from, family,
Okay.
what do you do, favorite color? I don't know. what like...
Any allergies, seasonal or otherwise? I don't know.
Rock on. Well, I come from Eastern Iowa originally.
Eastern Iowa.
I am married to my high school sweetheart, 25 years.
Somehow I missed that detail. That's awesome.
Since we were 16.
Cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
Got cute homecoming and prom pictures.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That really is awesome.
Yeah. So, we have been married 25 years.
Okay.
We have 2 kids. One is a junior in high school. The other one is a freshman in college at Black Hill State.
Cool.
I have homeschooled them from day one.
Cool.
Used to be a elementary teacher, little special ed teacher
Nice.
Before kids. I am also a military spouse
Okay.
of 24 years. So
You're a professional.
are like what I like professional.
Yeah.
Some people say old.
No,
I like
professional.
seasoned.
Yes.
I like seasoned
oh yeah.
professional.
Seasoned.
Okay.
Been there, done that. So through my life as a mom, I have also done lots of volunteering opportunities.
Yeah.
And then just recently came on staff with the church and working kind of partner in crime here with your wife.
Cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
We have a lot of fun. You're really great and gifted. I love
Thank
it.
you.
It's been so wonderful for me. I hope it's been wonderful for you, but
It has. I've
She's
learned
amazing.
a lot. I've learned a lot. You model things very well. So
you're so kind.
Well, you guys are all ooey gooey over each other. It's fine. So we have been talking about like being present where you are, being like, so you wherever you find yourself, like, okay, being there, like living in the community, but not just like surviving, but like living and embracing it and all that. And one of the greatest groups of people in our society, I think, are military spouses, because you guys have to transition, acclimate, assimilate, all the words, like getting in, or I guess I say you have to. I guess you don't have to, but if you don't, I think you might get sucked into some unfulfilling, lonely,
absolutely
life.
Yeah.
So I would love for those who listen to Off the Fence to get some perspective, especially from a military spouse. Someone, do you know off the hand how many times have you moved, or how many places have you lived?
Of course I know.
Okay, so this.
Moving back here, is our 14th move in 24 years.
Wow.
Our kids, my son has lived in 10 different places, and our daughter 8.
Okay, so you do know. Okay.
Oh, yeah, we know.
Okay, so because some people are listening and going, I've lived in one place,
right,
in one home,
right,
and I don't feel like I'm a part of my community.
Right, yeah.
So I think you aren't just a professional military spouse, but a professional at getting integrated.
Well, thank you.
So, okay, so in moving and all that, you lived in lots of different places. Have you lived in different countries?
No.
Okay,
No.
So different states and things like that. I imagine all different states. But what has been challenging? Like you show up to a place. In your case, you're there because your spouse has been brought there.
Right.
What are some of the initial fears, concerns, hurdles, whatever you want to call them?
Sure. So it's nice for my husband or any other military active duty person. They have already in, because they have their work coworkers.
Yeah.
They get in quickly to their job, and as a spouse, one, it is challenging because a lot of our credentials, our professional things that we have, don't always translate from one state to the other.
Gotcha.
That is changing, thankfully.
Okay.
But that's been challenging.
Okay.
Yes.
We often have our kids, our families to worry about. So I think that part is hard because, like, my husband has come home and talks about, hey, I had this great conversation, da-da-da, and, I'm still unpacking boxes, or the kids are crying because they miss their friends, and it can be very lonely at the beginning.
I bet so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't know anybody, and you don't have an immediate bridge.
Right.
You got to make your bridge, basically.
We definitely have to make it.
While carrying a bunch of other stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I got to tell you, you were one of the first families in our early year or two, our first year or two here. One of the things that blew David and I away was how incredibly deep you all got. Like, there was depth fast. Like, how the commitment to being part of a church family and getting involved and connecting and just literally diving in full throttle. We'd never seen that before. We'd never experienced that before in ministry, but we saw it constantly with Ellsworth families, and it just blew our minds. I think we were moved by it and encouraged by it. And I remember thinking, that's the kind of believer I want to be. That's the kind of person I want to be, where when I'm here, I'm all here. And
that's so nice to hear.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
it was a game changer in ministry, I know, for us, because it really impacted us, the value of that. How do you do that?
It's trial and error.
Sure.
Honestly,
I'm sure it is.
early on, it's just Derek and I, and we both were working. And so it was probably after, I don't know, maybe our second or third move, where I started noticing we didn't fully plug in. We left wherever we were with regrets. I didn't get a chance to go do that or go see that, or we didn't plug in here. Having kids, of course, is a game changer, and I think it just forced me to be more intentional.
Sure.
And so, no, I grew up same small little farm town in
Okay.
Iowa.
Okay.
All of our family, both sides of our family are still there.
Okay.
We're the only ones that really
Okay.
have left,
Okay.
right? So I knew, especially for my kids, I want to be intentional so they have a wonderful childhood
Yes.
despite moving everywhere. I
Yes.
want them to have happy memories.
Yes.
And I want them to feel safe and secure and like it was a home and it
Yes.
wasn't just, oh, dad's work is taking us here again. And,
Yes.
You know,
Yeah. It's a mindset. It's really a posture.
it
yeah.
is. It is.
Oh man, I love it. And when you came back here recently, you kind of walked in with the same posture. Kids are different ages.
Yep.
And life looks a little different, but came in with that same posture of, all right, where do we plug in?
Yeah.
And it just ministers to my heart because I think there's this intentionality and almost like a pace setting that encourages and empowers the people around you to not want to miss opportunities either, but maybe they've not really been thinking about it the way that you guys,
Right.
I think, just kind of have to.
Right.
Yeah, I've been so encouraged by it.
Thank you.
So do you have, my brain is so, I think so systematically or strategically. I'm like strategically. So do you have, okay, let's pretend right now that you just moved to Rapid City, like just now. Do you have a strategy that you would say, okay, here's what we do? Because of what you've learned, do you have like, so we're going to make sure we do, I don't know, A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3, or do you have one of those?
Absolutely.
Do you mind sharing that? I'm just curious.
I mean, it's evolved over
sure
the
it has.
years, of course. So we are very much, well, now that we have social media, even 13 years ago when we moved here before, things on social media weren't
Right.
advertised as much. But now it's
Right.
so nice. I can go several months ahead of time of our move
Okay.
and research.
Gotcha.
I can go find those sports, the arts, the homeschool community, the whatever we are looking for,
Okay.
and I can go research it. Look for summer camps all the way in February, because you have to sign up early.
Nice. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't think about that. You get somewhere and you move and everything's already full.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that has been big. I prep. I'm a prepper.
Yes.
No, I think it's good wisdom that I still think people are waiting for life to happen to them.
Yeah.
And then and what happens is then you just get behind.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so that's, I think, just like preparing, especially if you're about to move, or I know a ton of people are moving to Rapid City now. And so there's like because of the internet, there's
Yep.
luxury. So you prep. You're a prepper. I'm going to start calling you a prepper. It's fine. Okay. So after you're doing your research and all that.
And then once we arrive, we are very efficient. We take every single thing out of the boxes. So our house is free of boxes within
Okay.
about 3 days.
Okay.
We might have piles of stuff everywhere.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But everything has to find its home
Okay.
in its place. And the very first night, we always get the curtains up on our kids' bedroom walls.
Okay.
And like this move, they were 16 and 18 when we moved. I think by the end of the first day, they had everything decorated.
Really?
Yeah.
Posters, pictures.
Okay.
That's
all up.
awesome. Yeah.
And I think I started doing that, a few moves back to be intentional that this is home. We are just transitioning. It just makes that transition out of living in suitcases, for a couple of weeks or whatever.
Yes.
This is your space.
Yeah.
So we do that. And then definitely is finding a church.
Okay.
That's always our go-to. And I think really probably when we lived here before, 13 years ago, I think, how you say you saw us just really dive in. I think Fountain Springs allowed us to do that in a manner that a lot of our churches before didn't. And so learning from that, our moves after that, we have taken, I think, a deeper dive. But we try to find a church because we know, well, one, living with the Lord and abiding with Him.
Right.
And, we want that for our family. But that's where we grow. That's where we get our connections.
Yeah.
And that quickly becomes our new family.
Okay.
So
That makes perfect sense. You said something that I don't think it's so natural to everyone, but you even pace, like literal pace, as in day 1, day 2, day 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I think even mentally, this is home.
This is home. It has to be.
And so where you could say, yeah, but in 3 years or 2 years or 4 years, whatever it is. But I think we have a mindset now that's so important that wherever you are right now, yes, you might one day be gone. It might be next year or 10 years, but where you are is home.
It is.
Which seems to govern then how you engage it.
Yes.
I think so.
That's what, but just here, like what you guys are literally doing day 1, get rid of the boxes. Get rid of the boxes. This is home.
Yep.
We don't have boxes in our home.
Exactly. We don't. So it's like, it's 2 months in. We are transitioned out. We are, or transitioned in, I guess, to the new place. We're making friends. About 4 months in, I think our family starts to feel like this is our new normal. And then by 6 months, we stop missing our old assignment. And I have found that to be true the last few moves.
Yeah.
But I see it all the time, especially younger military spouses, maybe, but they don't put in that effort, and then they miss out, and they are very disgruntled, and they complain, and they hate what their lives are like.
Okay.
Because it's not home for them.
Yeah.
And I would think even in the military, you could have like, oh, this is an ideal base, and there's this other base that's not ideal, and there's
of course
to where if you're not at the ideal base, you could lament it the whole time if you wanted to.
Yes.
Okay.
I think I've taught my kids to look at it as an adventure. We're always like, wow, what do we get to see this time? I mean, we have learned so much of our American history.
Oh, I can't
just
imagine.
moving,
Yeah.
I bet you have.
It's what do we get to do? What are the opportunities that we didn't have this last base that we were at? So it's just really just a mindset, I guess.
Well, I literally had the word in my head. I promise you.
Okay.
I was like, the healthy ones I've seen do it. Like the military ones specifically. They appear to have a family value of all their different values, get multiple ones, but one of them is always apparently adventure.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's not about how perfect or what are the amenities to where we're at.
Right.
But it's like an adventure. It's why you can go camping and say, yes, there's not a bathroom. or you can go to another country that doesn't speak the same language that you speak, and you're like, this is going to be challenging.
Right.
But adventure seems to be a critical core value of making home.
Yeah.
At least because I don't come from a military family, but I come from a pastor's family where we did move, not near as often, but we did move, and where you learn to make the place. I mean, the places I have lived and bragged about, and I look back and be like, that's not
right.
Don't tell anyone.
That's not an amazing place, but when I was there, it was the best place.
Absolutely.
It reminds me in Jeremiah where God's talking to the exiles and he's saying, you're exiled here. So while you're here, make the most of it. Seek the peace and prosperity of this place. And I think what we learn is not that we're exiled wherever we are. We're not saying that, Rapid City, South Dakota is like living in exile. But I think it's a posture or a lifestyle, a way of approaching a place and wanting the most for it. Like that's just the way of Jesus, to move into a place, to be at a place and make sure you're all there and that you're helping it to thrive. Because, and that's what the verse goes on to say, because as it thrives, so will you.
Right.
As you're lifting it, you'll be lifted.
It's just something popped in my head. Right now it's the month of the military child. We're celebrating all of our kiddos. And, the word resiliency comes up time and time again. And I know some people can look at the word resilience, and think about, well, yeah, you have to have experienced trauma in order to be resilient. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, the military life is hard. It's very harsh. But I think if you have a different mindset than that, what some people might call trauma or really difficult role, deployments and whatnot.
Right.
If you switch that around to opportunities, to learning,
Yes.
to it's growing us,
Yep.
then I can celebrate, being resilient
Yes.
because I've grown from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I
Makes
guess
perfect
so.
sense.
Yeah.
So let me put you on the spot because I'm not asking. I don't want you to feel like you are demanding something or complaining about anything. But I think many people listening might know military families, maybe live around them, wherever anyone's listening, but specifically even in our area. What can we who aren't military offer a military family that isn't just, forgive me for that, I don't want to just patronize your family.
Sure.
Like I am definitely, it moves me, the sacrifice you guys make. But I don't want to just say, and thank you. I do want to say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
But I also want to be a blessing, not, and I don't know what would you like us to know, or what could we do, or just maybe it's a list of things. Hey, consider this, or process this, or that. What would you say?
Well, okay, so on the surface, maybe, we talk a lot about spouses having trouble getting jobs in the community.
Sure.
Rapid City is amazing. I mean, I know so many military spouses that have a job for a year.
Okay.
Or, maybe the credentials have slipped a little bit because of different states' requirements.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Come get a job with us. So many people have allowed them to start their own businesses and things like it's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's not surface level, but that is, something big like that, including us. I think on a deeper, more intimate level is taking time to get to know us and not just say, hey, where are you from? What's your, if it's your husband, spouse, or wife, whatever, what do they do on the base? Cool.
Yeah.
I move on. Like, oh, yay. When we were here before, we started out in a small group of, nobody was part of the military. But man, that whole group of people took us in. We had dinner with them. We did events with them.
Okay.
Our kids played together. They invested in us. They made us feel welcome to the point, then they were showing us all the cool little local spots that,
cool.
the people, the tourist people won't know about. When we, my husband was deployed or my kids are sick, they just came around us like our family, our brothers or sisters, our parents did those things for us that our family would normally do, but they're not here to do. And just really include us. I even watch, we talk about, Derek and I talk about all the time, this area, and I don't know if we're just partial to the Midwest because we grew up Midwest, we're nice people. But there's truly, I think they're very genuine, and it's not just being, showing hospitality, but you can see people actually giving you eye contact.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Well, tell me more. How would you like to come and do this with us? And really just inviting us in.
I think that's so important because my guess is that because you're in the military, you come in and people are like, well, two facets. You're not here for very long, so you probably don't want to spend a whole lot of time with me anyways.
Right.
Also, you're not here for very long. I don't know if I want to preemptively break my own heart, or I know that there's a grief moment coming of when you leave.
I hear that all the time.
Okay. Yep.
That's awful.
I know it is, and
That's
so you don't embrace it. You literally leave it.
Well,
Yeah.
because the message is it's not worth the pain.
It's not
knowing
worth
you it's
the
not worth the
pain.
pain, which I don't think is their intent,
Nope.
but that's what it communicates.
Do you know how many people we've had to say goodbye to, but we have kept in contact with,
Yes.
or we can just pick up a conversation 5 years later,
Yes.
and we're making memories. We're making, for our family. And And people is so crucial to that. It's
Yeah.
just not entertainment or, things that we do. It's people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're a blessing to our family, and I even think about like one of my very good friends who I never see. I met because he was in the military, and we went on a motorcycle trip or two together, and they now live in Florida. And but he's one of those guys that if I sat down with him, even though I haven't sat down with him in years, we'd be boom,
Yeah.
right, we'd be right in there.
Well, he came and visited a couple years ago, which was amazing.
And I would say it was 100% worth the eventual goodbye and the difficult. Okay, that stinks.
Yeah.
But I think we need to hear that, especially those of us who aren't in the military, saying a relationship is worth it. It just really is
Absolutely.
worth it.
Yeah.
Making home, but not just you making the home.
Yes.
Us playing a
Yeah.
role in that.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, I'm grateful for you guys.
Thank you.
We just love you so much.
Yeah.
Well,
You were some of really when you were here, right when we were transitioning here, and it was just, I will never forget. We had a conversation in the sanctuary at our West location, which at that time was our only location, and it looked way different than it does now. But I just was so in awe. I could not even wrap my head around, like, because we had just come too, and I think it was some conviction and some just excitement and hope for what we could even do. Just your perspective and the way that you were living. I wanted us to live like that. You were living like missionaries, really. And it was just a game changer for us, and we're so grateful. And I'm so pumped now. You're on our staff team, which has been amazing.
When we found out this assignment, it was like, it was truly a surprise. We didn't think we'd be able to come back here, but we're like, all right, we're going back home. Like this really feels, and you guys have been a huge part of that. And just what the church has allowed us to do in the community and as family. So,
well, you've reminded me, and hopefully, I think prompted many people listening and watching. Make home, and start on day one.
You have to, yeah.
And what a lesson! Thank you, guys. You've learned that lesson via sacrifice.
Yeah.
You can say that. And we all can agree with it and say, you know what, that's so important. But you had to get that by giving up. And so thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, and thanks for giving us some time. We love you guys.
Thank you.
For those of you watching or listening or however you're tuning into this, I don't know that there's even another option, but if you have questions, thoughts, if you've cracked the code, and this is telepathically, anyways. If you have episode suggestions or thoughts or questions you want us to wrestle with, just text us 605-250-1224. Until then, know that we love you very much.